Back from Japan, that is. So there's going to be two main topics in this video. Number one, drawing out in public is kind of scary. And number two, the art supplies I bought while in Japan. I know I should break this video into two separate ones, but I'm just not going to. So when I went to Japan, I took an empty sketchbook and a head full of the hope to fill it. And I said to myself, well, I'll be there for like almost 4 weeks. What are the chances that I won't be able to fill it full of my observations? Turns out the chances must have been pretty low, as it didn't happen. But I did manage to do a few drawings. I did buy some Japanese art supplies while I was there, though, as they were half price compared to what I would be paying for in Australia. And I'll be showing you those in this video too. At the end, I've got some cool loot, yes. And there's going to be quite a few drawings in this video as well. The first main one is a mash of two elements I was inspired by while in Japan. Pikachu and this scary looking statue while I saw in Nipponbashi, Osaka. I remember this thing being at least like 7 or 8 feet tall. It was like staring into my soul with those empty eyes, as the pupils were actual holes that led into like a deep black void. At first I thought it was some kind of shrine to an angry bear god that cannot be appeased, whose hunger can never be satiated. Turns out it's some kind of mascot for the restaurant that it's attached to. Anyway, I kind of failed making Pikachu look like this horrible angry bear god. I ended up making it more like a brushy tail possum, I think. Anyway, put your feet up and relax. I think this is going to be a rather long video. I really admire people who are good at drawing outside in public, with people around, looking at them. Anyway, despite the resistance from my introverted personality, I did improve on this trip. Drawing from direct observation not only looks helpful at developing my drawing skills, but it looks fun as well. Getting out of whatever cave of seclusion you usually make art in and going out into the sunlight, into the fresh air. I'm also attracted to how primitive it is. It's a skill that enables you to capture what you've seen without being dependent on advanced technology. Unfortunately, drawing without the support of my desk and comfortable chair seems to lead to like really wobbly results. With practice, I have been improving though. Also, standing in one spot for 20 minutes with my arms T-Rexing out from the bottom of my ribcage seems to be more uncomfortable and exhausting than walking around for the same amount of time. Maybe it's because my wayward spine sometimes hates me for no reason at all. Also, I got COVID in Japan, which dramatically lowered my energy levels. That was not the best way to spend time overseas, which my past self now wants to tell you about. Currently I'm in Kyoto, Japan, and you can't hear me very well because I'm wearing a stupid mask because there's people around, which I will explain very shortly as soon as I get through here. I've been here in Japan, in Kyoto that is, for almost 4 days now, and this is really the only place I've seen because I came down with that famous disease which is named after the Spanish word for crown, and I was in the hotel room for basically all that time. Yeah, just surviving off konbini food that a family member was feeding me very kindly. So that was fun. And the hotel room also was, I suppose you could call it an authentic Japanese experience. I once saw a little video of a guy walking on some floorboards in Japan, and they were designed to be unusually loud and squeaky, and I found that rather funny. It was designed so, you know, assassins, ninjas can't sneak up on you, and I'm pretty sure this is how this hotel I was staying at was also designed, because there's no sound insulation in the place whatsoever, so you can hear any kind of ninja, you know, flushing the toilet or having a shower or talking in loud American accents, you know. There's no chance of them sneaking up on you in that hotel, yeah. But anyway, this is pretty beautiful, this place. So anyway, eventually I'll find a spot to sit down. There's a massive fish in there. Drawing for me is the result of having ample energy levels. I can have enough energy to drag myself around all day from place to place, walking here and there, and still not have enough energy to encourage myself to draw. Even though I enjoy it. I'm always making all sorts of excuses not to. Like, oh, it's too cold. I can't hold a pen in less than 10 degrees. Oh, I'm too hungry to draw. Look the size of that giant crab. My wildest nightmares have come true. I'm tired. I'll draw if I can find a place to sit. Public seating is not something which is common in Japan. I found that quite shocking. You can walk for kilometers in Japan and not see anything that resembles a public bench seat. In fact, it's so rare, I just decided to go to Daiso and just buy a seat. I found a chair. Eventually, I realised I should just stop complaining and create a scenario just dedicated to drawing. Because I was being like this little whiny, petulant child who wanted all of his terms of comfort met before doing anything useful. So it's been a number of days and I'm now in Tokyo and I still haven't managed to do any drawing whatsoever. I never seem to manage to find the ideal time to do it. So eventually, after much encouragement from myself to myself, I dragged myself over to the National Science Museum of Japan in Ueno. Now, I'm not very experienced in drawing in public. I have tried it a few times. It felt very odd at first. Drawing isn't naturally a social hobby. It felt strange to bring it out in public, especially when you almost never see anyone else drawing in public, and you've only ever drawn by yourself. At first it feels like you're practicing some kind of small social taboo that you're meant to be conducting in the privacy of your own home. Like trimming your toenails. Has anyone noticed me? Do people see me as strange? I found the Japanese animal exhibit. I am once again standing in the wrong place. You can only see the animals' backsides. Anyway, that only worries me a little bit now. Not enough to stop me. Because I realised a little generalisation. That people don't care that much. It's not really that strange looking. And even if you do look a little strange, they still don't care that much. Because most people mostly care about themselves. Which is exactly why you think so much about how other people think about you. Because it's about you. See? And everyone else is pretty much the same. So as long as you're not trying to stare into someone's soul while making your strange little notes in a sketchbook, you'll be fine. So how did I try and desensitize myself to drawing in public? Well, by starting small, with small ambitions. Step one was just taking the sketchbook out of the bag. You can just lie to yourself, I'm just taking this book out of the bag, and it's no big deal, I'm just gonna... It's fine. Make sure it's not like a giant sketchbook. Under A4 size was a good idea for me. Now you just walk around with it like it's something you just happen to be holding at the time. It's no big deal. I'm just holding a book. A perfectly normal thing to do. Now you can start small and just take a note of some exhibit you've seen. And then progress from there. Now, did all the Chinese tourists care that I was drawing among them in a Japanese museum? No. There was a museum staff member that noticed me. She was standing under the full-size giant squid model that I tried drawing. Most people in a museum look at something for like a brief moment and then continue walking. And I'm just standing there. How odd. But within 20 seconds, she must have come to the conclusion that I was just as boring as all the other motionless dummies there. Then she went back to her general unfixed gaze. After about 40 minutes of walking around and doing a bit of drawing, I had exhausted all of my energy levels, and stopped drawing just before I started scribbling. And then I got to see that famous dog Hatchi. Or Hatchi? I can't remember. Or as I remember the Japanese calling it, Hachiko. Now this dog is famous as it is seen as a good example of loyalty. This faithful dog patiently waited for his deceased owner at the Shibuya train station for years. Because of that, he became so famous that the Japanese even erected a bronze statue in his honor while he was still alive and present. And it's like a beautiful thing. As beautiful as something sad could be, really. Then the Japanese use this dog as an example of loyalty, something we should strive for. But is it really like a good example? I just don't know, really. I mean, Hachiko knew his original master for the first year of his life. Then after he disappeared, he spent almost 10 years waiting for him until his own death, refusing to find happiness anywhere else. Now, I don't know about you, but if I vanished from the face of the earth, I wouldn't want to have my loved ones doing nothing but just moping around and waiting for me until they die. What kind of psychopath would want that? Am I misinterpreting everything here? Maybe. I mean, the dog really didn't know that his master had died, but after a few years, maybe he should have, suspected something? But after gaining almost 10 times more life experience than when his master was alive, he didn't. And that's quite sad as well. Anyway, I've talked about various nonsense now, my failings and improvements, and then I profaned the name of Hachiko. Now, let's have a quick view of where I bought art supplies from in Japan. Now, the first shop I went to buy pens was Daiso, that cheap and cheerful variety store which is all over Japan and you cannot avoid. There's lots of different cheap pens and pencils there, markers, some brush pens. Most of them are like 120 yen, including tax. And if you've been to a Daiso store like elsewhere in the world, the variety, well, compared to the Australian Daiso stores and also the Filipino ones, which I've also been to, there's more variety there, definitely, for stationery. I also went to a shop called Tamiya, which was on level 6 of the Keihan City Mall in Osaka. I had a great supply of fountain pens and stationery and brush pens and inks and a few other art supplies, I think. Sketchbooks. This one's a more premium looking design, and this here looks like a metal grip, but it's actually rubber made to look like metal. It's pretty cool. It's got one of those shake advance mechanisms in it. Once again, instead of making art, I just keep on stumbling onto art supply shops and stationery shops and looking at what they have instead. But I didn't buy a lot of stuff there because I had already been to what I now consider to be the benchmark, the ultimate benchmark of art supply shops. Here is the Hokkaido art supply store in Shinjuku. It's very big and it has more art supplies than you could possibly imagine. It's basically 5 stories high. The first 3 levels are full of the usual art supplies, and the last 2 are full of picture frames. Last time I was here, I purchased like $120 of Holbein watercolour paints because it would have cost twice as much in Australia, which was excellent. And then the next time I went in here, I bought random selections of mechanical pencils, and now I'm going in here again to pay another homage to artistic potential, which I will not fulfill because I keep on buying stuff. Okay. I like this section of mini mechanical pencils. It's very cool. There's every mechanical pencil here you could imagine. Her story is mostly stationary, arty stuff. Well, I feel rather bad about myself because I kept on putting mechanical pencils in this basket and brush pens and stuff, which I already have, like the 0.3mm Oren's Nero. I had the 0.2mm, which I regret getting because it was like too fine. So now I got the 0.3. Maybe I should buy the 0.5 as well. I don't know. One's it never ends, does it? The paper here also looks excellent and very tempting and aimed at, you know, comic professionals. Going to that art shop is dangerous. I spent 3 times as much as I expected because it's twice as cheap. And now it's the part of the video where I show you the loot I brought back from Japan. Starting with this bag of watercolours. I went crazy and I bought tons of Holbein watercolours. Oh, look at it all. This is why you don't film on a desk which is on an angle. I went for the 60ml ones, which will hopefully last me for the rest of my life. I don't know how long it will last me. This is permanent yellow deep. And look how tiny my little pans are. No, I can't pronounce it. I don't have brain capacity to pronounce anything anymore. It's this colour. Sap green. Brilliant orange. Permanent green. That was a thick one. Ultramarine deep. Roll red, I don't know. Oh, it's a nice vibrant one. I have bought a bunch of smaller tubes as well. In fact, I bought more than I actually remembered. There's quite a few there actually. So Holbein makes basically this luminous variety of watercolour paint, and it looked very interesting and vibrant, I think. Luminous yellow. Oh wow. What is that? Okay, that looks crazy. That looks fluorescent almost. Let's have all this luminous red. What a vibrant colour. It's like it's burning into my retinas. Luminous blue. Oh yeah, it's pretty nice. So I've got luminous pink. What's that like? Oh wow. Luminous violet. Luminous green. I've also got brilliant pink. Let's just stick that there. And I've also got Jean Brilliant number 2. Oh yeah. Opera, I think. Oh wow. And Quinacridone Scarlet. Finally. Some decent reds. Anyway, after buying exactly what I needed, which was good quality watercolours in the colours that I wanted, I kept on buying stuff that I didn't need. So we're going to have a look at that now. For some reason I grabbed a bunch of these cheap little sketchbooks. The paper almost feels like a light watercolour paper, and you can basically buy them everywhere around Japan. Lots of art shops, and even Daiso stocks them for like, I don't know, like $1.20 each or something Australian. Not much. I also bought some of these tiny notebooks with blank paper in them, made by the Travellers Company. They're designed for their those bound leather books that they sell. Paper feels kind of thin. I don't think they were expensive though. I bought another one of these little sketchbooks by Royal Talons. They're quite affordable and they cost exactly the same as they do in Australia. I'm pretty sure I bought them for like $8 in Australia, so couldn't help myself. Now let's talk about all the pens, pencils and paintbrushes I bought. In fact, let's cover up my hideous creation here and we can try them out as well. Bought a bunch of mechanical pencil there. Oh, and tiny little erasers for my Tombow monograph eraser. which is in the end of this pencil here. Now, I bought this thinking that it would have fantastic knurling, and it is actually, it's okay. The knurling's quite okay. Once again, like all metal knurling I've ever felt, it's not as good as the smooth painted plastic up or metal up here. That feels more although I did discover something recently. If my hands get really sweaty, because you know this is Australia and things, my room sometimes gets to like 30 degrees or something, knurled metal actually becomes almost more grippy than the plastic, because my hands are getting sweaty and things start getting slippery. Right now this feels very good though. It's pretty nice. So very good. It works like every other mechanical pencil in existence. And it has this fantastic twist out eraser. Why don't they all twist out? Sick of losing little pen caps, you know, little end caps. I only bought this Kuguru Toga 0.3mm. This one, as you have probably heard, has the ability to rotate the lead. Oh, nice rubber grip. As you've probably heard, this one actually rotates the lead inside the pencil, so it always remains sharp. You always get this sharp side of the lead. That is a problem that I have never really had. You know, never really had a problem with that, but it's pretty cool anyway. I think I can feel it actually. Yeah, it's the sharpest side. Wow. I also bought this ultra fine brush pen made by Kuretake or Kyortake or... Oh, I'll never learn Japanese. Did I buy a makeup brush by accident? Oh wow, that is fine. That is... Okay, it's capable of quite thick lines if you want it, but that is incredible line width variability. You can start like at almost a horsehair's thickness, and then just wow, amazing. Nice and compact too. Let's see if it's a pigment ink. Oh yeah, seems pretty permanent, doesn't dissolve. While we are on the subject of brush pens, I also bought another Pentel pocket brush pen, because it looked like this one was better quality than the one I already had, even though it's only slightly more expensive. Maybe it's just because it's painted fancily, I do not know. Let's find out. Here is the other Pentel pocket brush pen I have. I can get a line thickness which is, you know, like 1mm thick at the least. It's a bit pretty hard though. Feels pretty good. So let's try out this one. Now, it does look a bit like metal, but it's just painted plastic, okay? So, and I'm pretty sure it's identical to the other one. The body is identical. Is the brush identical? I think the brush also might be identical. Let's push a cartridge into here and see what happens. Come on, ink. Okay, let's try this out. You know what? I can't tell the difference. Is there a difference between these two? I think these things are the same. Okay. I bought this Pentel Oren's Nero, but in 0.3mm, because ages ago I bought the 0.2mm one, and you know that 0.1 of a millimeter makes a huge difference. Oh, oh yes, please. Will I ever use another mechanical pencil ever again? I don't know. The reason why I bought the 0.3 is just because 0.3mm pencil lead is a lot easier to come by. Is there a big difference in the lines? It goes. Let's rotate them a bit. Well, that was really worth the extra money, wasn't it? Wow. What am I doing? Okay, there's another reason why I zoomed in to this close. Because I bought some very tiny mechanical pencils two of them. This one is a Pilot HS40S-S. It's a 0.5 millimeter. It is very small. Little eraser on the end. Oh, that's pretty good. Wouldn't even know you've got it on. I mean, very nice strong pocket clip. Not going anywhere. But if you think that mechanical pencil is small, like compare it to the size of a regular one. And if you think this pencil's small, check out the size of my next one. It's in here somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. It's that. This. I cannot believe this is a mechanical pencil that actually works. It's microscopic. In fact, it's almost too small to hold. Incredible. So this is the Oto. What is it? The Oto Minimo, I think. Oto Minimo. And it has this little. This is basically a credit card like holder, so you can maybe put it in your wallet or purse or something. To really drive the point home as to how small this thing is, here is a 2mm pencil lead. I think this thing is like 3.5 millimeters in diameter, this mechanical pencil. I also bought this Tombow monograph light. I bought this for almost the sole reason that the rubber grip that it has just feels really nice. Very grippy. Very light. Oh yeah, that's nice. Also comes with a great twist eraser. Oh, look at all that twist you can get out of that. Oh yeah. Tombow monograph light, 0.5 millimeters. Very nice rubber grip. And I bought a more recent Pigma Micron. Because last time I reviewed a Pigma Micron, that was a long time ago, and man, I treated it very harshly. Not too bad, pretty good. It works like every fine liner in existence. Here's a Kuretake or Kuretake, whatever it is. A little brush pen. The Fuge Go Gotchi. I can't pronounce a single thing. Oh. An extremely fine line. It's a very firm, like brush pen feeling. Very fine line, thick lines, very good. Also, while in Japan, I was looking for the watercolor brush of my dreams, and so I just bought a bunch of them. I bought, oh yes, another nice watercolor brush pen. They're all much the same. I'll just put that aside. Well, not really. So I bought a couple made by Pentel. Quite a few made by Pentel actually. And there's this set here, this cheap, very cheap set. Got nice little rubbery open-ended caps on them, called the Neo Sable. Which is of course not real sable. I presume that's a synthetic fake sable. But remember these ones being very cheap, very affordable. So were these. These other ones made by Pentel. This is the FD-S51. So it was only 341 yen. This one I think was pretty similar. I also bought this mysterious one, which was also quite cheap. And then I saw this thing and I thought, wow, this is a beautiful looking watercolor brush made by Holbein. The same company I bought my watercolors. Yeah, same brand of my watercolors. Holbein. And it was quite expensive, to be honest. This one is the SQ3. It's a big massive brush and it comes down to a very fine point. So I'm hoping this expensive one will be able to basically do everything under the sun. So first, let's try out this enormous Neo Sable. It's taking a while to remove the glue off. Okay, I'm going to go wash this glue off, hang on. So let's try out some green. Okay, we've got a loose hair here. Interesting. Pretty good. It maintains a nice taper. Works rather well. Yes, okay. Now let's try out this mysterious one. Much softer bristles and not a great amount of snap to them. They maintain their shape, which yeah, I'm not a giant fan of brushes that don't snap back into shape easily. But it does. Yeah, it does have the ability to hold a lot of water and pigments though. That's pretty nice. Let's try this Pentel FDS 5-1. Much stiffer bristles. Pop back into shape. Amazing. Yeah, I much prefer this one. I like this one. This one's very nice. It's just sort of, it's a cheap one. It's just made with a hollow plastic tube. So let's try out this Pentel 7RS number 8. It does have, it's got no, I like the snap. Very soft bristles though. Deforms a bit, you know. Holds tons of water. Very impressive there. Yeah, okay. Excellent on the water retention. Doesn't maintain its shape very well though. So how much money do you have to spend to get something that has water retention and also maintains its shape? Probably not that much. This one seems to do a pretty good job. It holds a fair amount of water and it retains its shape. Bristles are reasonably soft. This one though, I think I spent almost $40 on, actually, Australian. That's number 3, SQ Black Resable by Holbein. And these are so soft. Amazingly soft bristles. And it just snaps back into shape. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, incredible. Oh, so soft. You can make such a fine line as well. Look at that. Such a fine and delicate line. And then I can just go, whoa. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Try out a bit of red. Remarkable. Okay, I think I might finish off this horrible piece of artwork with these two watercolor brushes. The SQ Black Resable by Holbein, which cost me something like $40, and this one, which cost me something less than $4. Previously, I was using this Master's Point by Neef, which I believe is an Australian art brand. This also had excellent snap to it. The bristles are quite thick, actually. And I have also been using previously this, whatever that is, a Kolonsky Sable brush, I believe it is. Very soft bristles. It holds a fair amount of water and it is very soft. Doesn't really come down to a point half the time. Now, half the time I just prefer, believe it or not, a simple nylon brush. Like, even this one was pretty good. And this one here is definitely the best because I spent a lot of money on it. And I can't imagine it being otherwise. So this here is a deer I drew while standing in discomfort in a museum. And this here is a deer I drew while in comfort while lying in bed. No, there wasn't, from a photo, there wasn't a deer in the bedroom. That would be weird. Now, I've never watched or played Pokemon, but is it some kind of sadistic fantasy of animal cruelty where you stuff animals into balls and then force them to fight one another? It sounds awful.